You have been investing in Hertz, you lunatic. Someone believes Hertz is not going anywhere. Bring up that chart because that chart is looking very, very enticing.
Here's what we're looking at. I just pulled the trigger and I just picked up a bunch of shares of this thing at 310. I put a limit order in for 310 and I got it in after hours. It hit, and so I'm in. This, just look at the 1 day. This is
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I'm not saying you personally, but the play here is to put in 10,000 into Hertz, wait a couple of hours, and then it goes up 20 cents and get out. Well, it could go lower, of course, but I'm saying
it could go lower. But if it goes lower than this, after all the news, it's pricing to bankruptcy. Look where we were a year ago.
Hertz, I know it was pretty high, $20 or so, right?
You know, that at $20, this is $20 in February of this year. It was at $20. So you're looking at, it's a 7x return. It dropped 70%, man.
If it survives, let's say you even make a 3x, there you go. You're a much bigger gambler than me.
I mean, FUV was a bit of a gamble. It just happened to jump up when you...
Well, FUV, the gamble is, it's a lot smaller because they are delivering vehicles, okay? They have more orders now than they did a year ago.
Why don't we ask the viewers?
They are actually...
Why don't we ask the viewers what's a bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, look, because you think that...
All 19 of you, please tell us.
All 19 of you, let's take a poll here. Okay, so you think that a company with no track record that's been around for 10 years not making any money is a better bet than a company that was at $20 who had their business model disrupted?
Well, their business model sucked always, and they were never making enough. And it shows that if they don't even have enough to survive like 2 months, Uncle Sam expects the regular person to have 6 months of money stocked away in his pants somewhere. But if Delta doesn't have even 25 days worth of capital to sustain them and they need a bailout immediately, it's crazy.
Well, they're leveraging their importance to the
no, I know, but I'm saying
the American
how messed up is that people are worth dog shit and these corporations is what we got to bail out, you know?
Yeah, no,
that's a whole separted thing, but
totally
that just pisses me off.
But when you don't do that, when you don't listen to the advice, this is what you get: $3.03, 41% shorted right now. So even all of this is basically just a bunch of people waiting for it to die. I mean, these are brave dancers here.
This is where a short squeeze might come in because 41% short. That's a lot. That's almost half of the stock is being shorted.
And look at the volume per day. There's 14 million shares of this thing trading every day.
I don't know what the average of that trade is for Hertz, but I'm sure it's more now than it usually is.
Probably.
If you.
Oh no, there it is. Here's volume. So this is volume. If you just look at year to date.
Can you make that bigger? Is that bigger?
I mean, yeah. Look, in May, I mean, the volume has been insane. 95 million shares on 29th.
The volume is way up. It's a very interesting play, and I think that chart is still. Even when I look at it, I'm like, should I get like a couple hundred shares of Hertz?
What other company does this look like right now?
What other company?
In March.
Carnival? Carnival?
That chart is Carnival's chart. It was going up and down. It was hovering at a certain price. Yeah. It's sitting around for a while. Everyone thought they were going bankrupt. And look, and Carnival had more money. That volume is insane.
But realize if it dips under $3, then it's going lower, right? I think that's like the mental thing is like right now it's holding on to $3.
I mean, I don't know. The 52-week was
$2.80.
So the high was. I bet you that was in March though. That was probably if you look at the price.
But I'm wondering how fast it recovered when it hit $2.80.
It hit $2.80 on the 7th. This was actually recently when they missed that payment, and then
but look how fast it recovered.
And then it went back up to $3 between Thursday and Friday. This is 1 day. This is a 5-day chart. So this is in 1 day it tanked. But you see what it's doing. I mean, look, it started the week at $3.40 and it ended the week at $3.10. So a 30-cent shift over the week. But I mean,
that's huge percentages because once again, it's a small valued stock right now. So someone who's getting tens of thousands of shares of this, which is very possible, every 20, 30 cents, they're just selling, buying. Yes. Can you bring up the call option actually on Hertz? So let's say I believe Hertz is going to survive.
A $3 contract there's a 179. So you could buy a $3 strike price at the current one that it's at now. This is what I did with JetBlue. You buy it at the current one that it's at now. It's the cheapest one. If you look, it's the cheapest one without pricing yourself out. If you think about it like this, if you want to spend $500, let's just say that's all I want to spend.
Right.
You're better off buying as many call options as you can for the 500 because you're going to end up with
Right.
more shares, and you're only going to execute that sale when you want the shares.
If we hit a certain limiting factor where nobody wants to buy, let's say over the S&P 3000, which we're heading to the 200-day average, if we hit that and we go a little above it, but nobody's like, hey, I want to buy anymore, then all you have is sellers, right? You know, once again, I'm not a technical analyst, but I draw some lines. There you go. These are my lines.
Allie loves drawing lines. He was a hopscotch champion.
Yeah. So we were heading down, and at some point I thought we were going to reverse even here. Like, this is what I was thinking, that boom, it was going to come back down, but no, it broke through. And as soon as it broke through, that was very bullish, right? And now it's continuing up, man. And look, we're heading towards the 200-day. We keep talking about this. If it breaks the 200-day, which I think at this point it's almost unstoppable.
The momentum alone.
The momentum is unstoppable because I think FOMO is strong with a lot of people buying and raising stock value, even though it's not worth it. And the Fed is printing all this money at 0% basically. So if money is worth nothing to big banks and corporations that can borrow nothing, but I think that creates a massive, massive bubble. So
it does create a massive.
I hope that doesn't happen. By the way, I don't want asset prices to go so out of control that it creates a bigger bubble and the economy is even more screwed years from now. Because we'll be in it anyway, and it's not going to be good for anyone. Maybe that's the top where we touch this again, and then it's like, okay, F you and straight down. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that. But and I'm sure other people are looking at different tops. So you see this top right here? I don't know if you see this right here. Let me draw this line. I love the lines now. But this could actually be because it served as a resistance. So what might happen is this might be the end of our bull market right here. Well, it's not a bull market. It's still a bear market, but this might be the end of our bull rally or bear or what's it called? Bull trap. This is like a massive bull trap that it might hit around 3130 and then boom, straight down. I would bet on that. I would probably bet on the 3130 and then straight down. I think it's going past the 3000 though.
That's totally possible, but we've believed things before and then the exact opposite.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, right now it's a guessing game. I don't know if technical people would say. Are you saying something like this?
That's what
yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's a thing right here. You have to go from the top of the peaks.
But it looks like they're converging because the ups and downs are.
You could be right. Who knows? If you're right, then we're going to go extend a little bit further before we even touch 3000. It might happen in looks like May 27th. So some people might have shorted here, but then it went right above it, bounced back, and then off to the races. So it was definitely playing with a 50-day here. And then it stayed between the 50 and the 100. You see that? It's playing between the two. And now, if it breaks up, it's going between the 100 and the 200-day moving average. And once again, I'm thinking it's going to break that and go up to this. At least this is the next resistance after the 200, you know?
Until we get to quarter two and we see the actual earnings.
Right.
I don't think until it's starts.
Right. Until real numbers come in, then they're going to start pricing in the reality. But until then, nobody knows the real reality. Nobody knows how bad Microsoft and Apple are actually doing. We don't know how many iPhones they're not selling right now.
Q2 is going to be a big indicator.
That's going to price in the real numbers are going to come out Q2, which will say how bad, and also the unemployment rate, which is still skyrocketing, by the way, which nobody cares about. Nobody's trying to help those people out.
Because they have, if they have, what do they call it? Like stalls on evictions and people are getting money. Like right now, the economy is still kind of floating. It isn't until you start seeing foreclosures, cars getting repossessed.
And that takes many, many, many months. Exactly. It's not just like 1 month. It's not one 30-day period. Right now, okay, this is the statistic I recently heard. Hopefully I'm correct in it. I don't have the source in front of me, but the poor people, basically, I think they're at the 15-20% unemployment level right now, which is huge. The white collar workers are at 8%. So they're not affected nearly as much.
There's a lot of what they do. They can do it from anywhere in the world. They can do it on their phone.
So they're affected by less than half, So that's a big difference. That means you can still buy a refrigerator if you're in that middle class,
that's my point. My point is, so
IT manager,
the unemployment
so
numbers
forth.
that you're seeing, for example, some restaurants might actually surprise the earnings because they ramped up their delivery service. Like I was reading about New York for the first time, Michelin star restaurants are packing their shit into styrofoam
I heard about this.
containers
Yes, I read an
and
article on
selling
it.
it.
Yes.
I mean, that is something where it could actually be a big boom for them if and when they open again, because now they have a whole delivery market. So what I'm saying is, like, I don't believe all of the good news and I don't believe all of the bad news. I think it's
Right.
somewhere in the middle. And I do think that the one thing that this has taught me is that I should not be surprised about being surprised. And that's why I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen. This is not. I think you just sort of hedge your bets both ways. And
well, before we were so sure that it was going to go down. Now I am not so sure.
So sure that we did not pull the trigger on Tesla at 350. That's how sure.
Yes, that's how sure we thought it was going to crash further, but totally wrong. I don't think Tesla's ever. I mean, we're skipping topics, but I don't think Tesla's ever going to see 350 again.
No,
I'm calling that right now. Tesla's not seeing 350 ever again.
Tesla will never be $10 again. Boom, mic drop.